Macadamia here. Be a warrior, not a warrior. Today we're going to talk about the gift of leadership. Leading, as defined here, is the ability to stand before the body and diligently direct, administer, conduct, and manage others so that various ministries of the church will fulfill their objectives so that the church's mission will be accomplished. It's pretty straightforward, you would think. But leadership is not that straightforward, as many of us know. When I was in Japan many years ago, I was in a group that how it was pretty diverse. They were from all over the world, and we were volunteers helping out in Sendai, in the surrounding area. And there were situations where some leaders were strong, some leaders were weak. I was actually brought in to help a leader in particular, which is typically my role as an apostle type of figure, as ministries are either growing. In this case, it was a little different, but they were kind of wrapping everything up. So we were the last group there, helping to close a large organization's ministry to the larger Japan, area of Sendai and the surrounding cities. It was a wonderful time, but there were moments when certain leaders were kind of indecisive, and there were other things going on that had people questioning what to do. And in those moments, as led by the Holy Spirit, I would step in. If I wasn't, I wouldn't. Okay, and of course, I would confirm every decision that was being made that the Lord gave to me to do or to provide with the current leader that I was placed under before we actually did anything. And typically they would respond very positively. So that was a confirmation that the Lord had led me to do or say the right thing at that moment. In the middle of all this, there were some young volunteers from different countries that were very curious about who the leaders actually were in the groups that we worked with. And one day, and I'll do a whole video on this gentleman at some point, there was another Mike. I just call him the other Mike. But he was a gentleman who was about 10 years older than me, and he came to do a very similar ministry that I did, but just for a weekend. And he had a fascinating ministry. He would do house churches, which was like, groups of 12 people, like the original disciples. He would do them, in different churches that were placed in people's homes around Japan. And he was one of the leaders of this organization that helped plant these little groups, these little churches in many different places. It was a very fascinating type of ministry to me. But anyway, he had something interesting to say when the topic came up over dinner one night. And it was that leaders are, or leadership is, I think is exactly what he said. You can be a leader, but not necessarily be in the highest position. You can be someone who is very good at leading others and then go to someone who's above you. Okay, you can follow orders while leading others at the same time. Our military hierarchy in many nations of the world is built on this exact premise. So leadership is, a leader doesn't have to run up to the top of the flagpole. They don't have to be at the top of the totem pole, so to speak. They can be in many different positions and doing many different things at many different levels. And leaders do have a few things in common, though. They're typically strong of character. They have a level of integrity. They are people that others look up to and know that they can trust. Sometimes they think that a leader is good at the beginning because they believe they see those aspects or those virtues in a leader from at the beginning, only to find later that the individual who they're looking up to didn't have those things, and that's when that leader's role kind of falls apart. So a leader has to have a level of integrity. They have to be trustworthy. They have to be timely. They have to be prompt. They have to be dependable. They have to be resourceful, because they may need to make decisions quickly. And they have to be willing to let go of the power that they are given in moments when it's necessary, particularly if someone has been placed above them, if they actually just want to get things done, which most real leaders do. That's the motivation that keeps them going. They want to see things happen, and they enjoy seeing things happen, and they enjoy helping others make things happen and seeing the benefit and the fruits of that labor. Okay, that's the sign of a real leader. Someone who's excited about what they're doing, they're motivated every day, they enjoy the role that they have, even if they're not like at the head of the company or the head of the, the military group or the, what have you, or church, of course. That's what we're talking about here. So leading is a way of running things well. Okay, if you do not have a good or strong leader in a position, things won't run well. People will get into disputes, arguments, all kinds of crazy things can happen. The enemy can get into that situation. So you don't want to do that. It is important to have strong leadership in every major role within a church, for every major outreach, every major part of a church. There should be a strong leader, and the pastor should decide based on the person's compassion, their ability to get things finished and completed, their ability to organize other people, their ability to have influence over others, but most important, their ability to represent Christ in that role while still being a strong leader. A lot of people confuse Christ with some type of mild-mannered hippie character. Okay, he was never that. He was also not some overly strict authoritarian. He was someone who followed God. And because he followed God so well, and God's character and his truth came out of him constantly, others could trust him. They knew he was one with God, and they knew God did not have anything bad planned for them. And if there were negative things that happened, it would all eventually be turned around for their good. So this is another sign of a good leader. A good leader turns things around when they seem bad. That's something important to remember. A good leader takes something bad and they turn it around for good. They don't just try to use words to do this. They do it, and they get people rallying behind them to do it with them. Any church or any ministry or any organization whatsoever would be wise to keep people who are able to do that around. It doesn't mean you have to elevate them. A lot of these people don't necessarily want to be elevated all the way up. That some of them can be leaders of groups of people, but they don't enjoy the responsibilities or the stress that comes with genuinely stressful, high leadership positions. That even if they pay a lot more, because they're not in it for the money. Leaders are not in it for themselves. They're not in it for the attention or validation. They are in it because they enjoy doing it, and they're not there for this to be the center of attention, though some people will think they are. But a true leader wants everyone to succeed and at some point be the center of attention, and they can help move those people around as they take turns. They celebrate everyone, and they don't need to be recognized all the time. If you know a leader who's like this, you should recognize them and encourage others to. Realize that you have a rare individual in your midst. These are godly leaders, people that elevate others before themselves, but also get the work done. Pray for leaders like this in your church. Pray for people who are kingdom-minded and not worldly-minded. People that want the church to succeed in its mission in reaching the lost and not get stuck in cycles perpetrated by individuals who are not fit to lead. that only cause strife and confusion. Anyway, that's my take on leadership. Be a warrior, not a worrier. Good night.